Hi, I'm BNEWS Director Rich Hosford, and I'm here in our Weather Center to meet with BNEWS meteorologist Peter Brown. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure, Rich. How are you today?
Doing well. Hope you are as well. You're here today. We wanted to kind of bring you in and talk about this sort of strange winter we've been having. As we're taping, it's middle of December, about a week before Christmas.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any snow. I'm seeing people in light jackets or no jackets at all. So what's going on?
All right, well, the answer to that question, a lot of people have been hearing about it, is this monstrous El Nino that we have. And I can actually show you a little bit on the graphic right over here. This area of orange that you can see in the equatorial Pacific, this is actually above average sea surface temperatures in the Pacific. And usually at this time of the year, we'll see very cold temperatures in the sea surface at that. Usually this warm water is on the other side of the Pacific, but it's actually the winds have shifted direction, and it's actually pushed it all the way over to South America. And that's what's really affecting our weather right now.
So, I mean, I know it's all a big climate system across the world, but how is it that, you know, something that's happening across the country is sort of making such a dramatic impact for our weather here?
Sure thing. What happens is when we have this incredibly warm water that's in the Pacific and it's very close to us, what happens is it enhances something that we call the subtropical jet stream. And that's the stream that brings a lot of the weather into the United States for the wintertime especially. And it also brings a lot of warm air. So, of course, you have this flow from west to east coming off of this warm water. It brings it right into the United States, and that's what gives us a lot more rain, say, in the south, but also a lot more mild temperatures as well.
So it's sort of just pushing up warmer air. Is it keeping, you know, Canada's cold air from creeping down?
Well, the interesting thing about it is it's actually going to cause a little bit of warmer than average weather in Western Canada even as well. I know it's hard to believe that something that far south is going to be affecting Canada as well, but I'll tell you, it affects weather as far away as South Africa and Australia too, so it's going to affect all of us.
All right. Now, I remember last year it was warm on Christmas Day. We had a milder, maybe not this mild, but we know that changed suddenly. You know,
Yes.
Suddenly we had more snow than we knew what to do with. What does it look like it's going to be around here, you know, January, February, March? Are we going to be digging out our cars in the middle of spring, or are we going to be swimming in March? Which way is it going?
All right, well, the biggest thing that dictated our weather last year was something we'll also call, we remember the polar vortex, of course, that everybody went crazy about.
Right.
It was also, there was a large area of warm water just off of the Pacific Northwest, and that was causing a huge, what we call ridge and warm weather in the west, but that also caused extremely cold weather then in the east, because you have kind of a balancing act in the atmosphere. That's not present this year, so we're hoping that that combined with the strong El Nino will give us much warmer temperatures here in the Northeast.
And is that just for us? Like, I'm seeing a lot of orange, red, kind of yellow. Is it going to be warmer across much of the northern part of the United States here?
According to the National Weather Service, which is where this graphic is from, it looks like we're going to have fairly mild temperatures from all the way from Southern California all the way around the upper Midwest and into the Northeast. Now, of course, as we see, if you're going anywhere down south, say anywhere from Texas to Florida, with that added rain coming in from the southern jet stream, that's of course going to bring more clouds and of course a little bit cooler weather from them, but still.
So it might not be a good year for the snowbirds down in Florida.
It might not be the best because the past 2 winters they've been lucky. They've had, I mean, phenomenal weather, and it looks like this year they're going to get the brunt of the rain and the thunderstorms and everything.
Gotcha. So we know it's going to be a little bit warmer, but again, we always see a lot of snow at this time of year. Is that just going to turn to rain? What are we looking at as far as precipitation goes?
Okay, well, the thing about this is, and I'll actually draw an analogy back to 1997, which is the last time we saw an El Nino of this strength, is we had a lot of rain in southern New England, but the problem was in northern New England, it wasn't quite cold enough to snow because of the warm air coming up into you, but it was just cold enough at the surface that we had a tremendous ice storm in northern New England. So we're hoping that doesn't happen this year, but in an El Nino year like this, of course, if you get a cold air intrusion from Canada all of a sudden, just down from the poles, you get a little bit of moisture with it from the southern jet, you can turn into a big mess with an ice storm. So we're hoping it doesn't happen, but the chances for that type of a storm in an El Nino year are much higher.
And it looks like we're going to get a lot more precipitation too in the southern part of the country. Maybe in
Yes.
California, a little bit, help them out with their current
That's
drought
for sure.
that's going on.
And they're hoping, it looks like a lot of areas in the Sierras and everything are going to get a lot more snow this year. And that's what they rely on in Southern California to fill their reservoirs up when it melts. So it looks like it's going to be a win-win situation for, at least for California and for us here too. So
Great.
keep my fingers crossed.
So recap, it's going to be warmer here, maybe some rain, hopefully not any ice, possibly, thankfully, less snow than last year.
I'm hoping.
All right, great. Well, I'm going to keep you to that. Well, thank you very much for this great explanation of sort of the overview of the weather, and I appreciate you having me down here.
Great, thanks, Rich, and thanks for joining me in the studio today.
Absolutely. And now we're going to go back to you in the studio.